Final Fantasy XVI launch week.
You beat me to it. I was literally about to say the same.
I have too much energy this week. The hype is through the roof for me.
You're really hyped about it. I'm actually not that. I love Final Fantasy, but I love old Final Fantasy, and this doesn't feel like an old Final Fantasy.
Yes, but we are going to talk about this later.
Okay.
There is a specific reason why I'm super hyped.
Yeah? What is it?
Yeah. Okay. I was invited by PlayStation to be part of their launch campaign in 2 separate occasions.
Okay.
Okay. The first
this
one.
This is PlayStation Portugal, right?
PlayStation Portugal, yeah. The first one was last Thursday on the 15th, I believe, where they invited me to go to Lisbon to talk with the famous Portuguese comedian and convince him to buy Final Fantasy XVI when he never played Final Fantasy XVI. Now, this was a series of episodes where several people would have a chat with him. A chat with him. And give different arguments. So one person talked about gameplay, another person talked about the parties, the story, and I went to talk about the photo mode with someone that never played Final Fantasy and doesn't even know what a photo mode is.
Are they even a gamer?
They are, yeah. Okay. He is known for collaborating with PlayStation Portugal on several occasions. He plays a lot of like more mainstream games like Uncharted, The Last of Us, things like that. So this story goes in 2 ways. I go there, I arrive, everything goes fine, but this is the first bit of news that you have no idea about.
No. I knew that was happening, but nothing of what's happened. So come on.
PlayStation Portugal, I think it was 2 weekends ago, had a VP contest on Instagram on God of War.
Right.
And I won because I was basically running against myself. So now I'm a proud owner of collector's edition of God of War.
Oh, good.
And they wanted me to...
One of these.
I now have one of these. It's not in my house right now, but it's coming. But they told me, you won, face to face. It was the first thing that they said to me as soon as I arrived. So the conversation with the guy, I can spoil you the entire conversation, but it was basically, what is a photo mode? Where do you post your photos? Why do you do it? And is the photo mode on Final Fantasy XVI any good? Let's save my opinion for later, but it wasn't an easy conversation to have. It was basically, do you like medieval shows like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or whatever? You can now take pictures of it. He wasn't a fan of taking pictures in real life, so that made it even harder. And somehow, the way that I convince him to try is, wait, there is a foot fetish in real life. Maybe there is a foot fetish for characters in video games. So now I'm going to buy the game and take photos of characters' feet and post them online.
That's what
what
he
convinced
came up with.
him on my episode.
Are you taking some credit for planting that idea?
No. No, and that's the second part. So today I received an email from PlayStation Portugal saying that Square Enix
asking for pictures of your feet.
No, Square Enix didn't reply on time, so they didn't have enough time to release all the episodes, so the episodes are not going to air at all.
Ever?
Oh
my god.
Yeah. That's the thing that I said before the show started. We started recording, that I wanted to see your reaction to.
What?
So
you're a little bit jinxed with these things.
So it was 9 episodes. 9 different people went to PlayStation Portugal and none of them are going out. But they are gifting us Final Fantasy Deluxe Edition, Final Fantasy 16 Deluxe Edition, as like, oh, they are not going out anymore. It's like a consolation prize.
That's nice.
I bought it.
But...
I have that version of them. It's the second time.
Oh well, I don't have it.
I don't know. Do games have region locked anymore?
They do to some extent, yeah, but it's usually like North America, Europe and Australia, like the PAL region, and then Asia. But that I can't believe that they're not even gonna put them out later. Why not just do them in a couple of weeks?
I talked with Danny this afternoon and said, "Oh well, they haven't released a single episode, and there are 9 of them." Because I think the initial plan was to release them up to the release date.
One a day. Yeah.
And they even said mine was going to air during the live stream event that they are having for the launch. So I said,
assuming that that's allowed to go out.
I told Andy, so why aren't they posting them? If they aren't posting them, they might do them all during the live stream event. Like have the first episode air, it's like 10 minutes, then the cuts to the person on the event, like talking about their episode. And now they are just not going to air at all, so I have no idea. That's like lost footage.
That's really.
And I thought
really
my
odd.
episode was really funny too, so I'm sad.
Oh well, can you get a copy of it for your own archives?
I have no idea. Like it's up to Square Enix, I guess. But the second part to my hype train is that PlayStation Portugal, this, is having a live stream event to celebrate the launch of Final Fantasy XVI, and they are doing that on a medieval castle in Portugal. And I'm part of the guests to be there. Like, it's an open event, so you can apply to be a guest. Okay. But I'm one of the guests that will be talking on their YouTube, on their Instagram channel, like about the game, about the photo mode. And like you, I'm a big fan of old Final Fantasy. But this is a landmark for me. Like the last Final Fantasy 16, I didn't even have money to buy it.
Right.
And now, years later, I'm part of like the headline guests for a PlayStation event. It's insane to me.
It is exciting, and I already knew you were going to that, obviously, because you told me a few weeks ago, I think, actually, wasn't it?
As soon as I got the invite.
The fact that it's in a castle, that really tops it off, actually, doesn't it? I'm really looking forward to seeing hearing what it's like. Hopefully,
they started the promotion on Twitter and Instagram. Of like showing the castle from the outside. I never been to that specific castle. There are like tons in Portugal, but I never been to that specific. And they had like actors in medieval clothing and everything. So I'm like, if this is the level that they are going to on that day, I will like.
I expect it will be pretty magnificent. For our American viewers, by the way, we're in Europe and we have real castles, not just Disney ones. We have actual castles here. It'll be mega. Like the Horizon event that I went to with Gorilla, that there was so much effort into like the room that you walked through, and it had the Hades lights show going on, and the voice. It was a totally blackout room with like laser lights and a bit of smoke, but Hades' voice on a loop, and it was amazing. You stood there for the whole loop. It was so good. I went back after when it was quiet. But there'll be tons of stuff like that. They're like things that you never saw coming. There was a giant swing, an indoor giant swing. You're like, what is this?
What? Have you seen what PlayStation UK did with like they rebuild the sort of
Yeah,
Final
the
Fantasy
big
16.
installations. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so good. They're always in London though, which is annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be good. I'm looking forward
it's
to
going to be my first one.
Yeah. First one's always best.
Okay, so this is the reason why I'm hyped, but there is a reason why I'm not so hyped.
And not
Because
just
I'm going
because
to
your
have.
stream didn't go out.
Yeah, that was a bummer, but the other part is the photo mode in Final Fantasy 16. I will have to talk about it.
The photo mode in Final Fantasy XVI is
A photo mode that exists.
It is titled photo mode, and it is a minimalist one, shall we say?
In everything.
Yeah, it's actually I can barely understand why they've bothered to put a tabbed UI in. They've got 2 tabs, and there's a total of like 6 features, one of which you could get rid of anyway because it just turns on the second tab. So you could have just had a single small list. But it's not thrilling, is it? It's not the best photo mode.
On the contrary.
Yeah, it's very underwhelming. So the 2 tabs, for anyone who's not seen it, the demo's out. The demo's been out for a week at least now.
A week or so, yeah.
Yeah. So you can check out the photo mode in that. You've got to get through the first little intro prologue bit and get to the flashback, haven't you?
Less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, especially if you skip the cutscenes. But yeah, it's camera and depth of field, and they're the 2 things. And there's not really a huge number of features on there. And the
Shall we
camera
show
range,
it?
Let's show it. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to prove that we're not speaking ill unnecessarily.
We are not speaking ill. We are doing our work here. Okay, so
That's dark.
It is, and that's part of the reasons why I don't like this photo mode at all, because the game itself is dark. So the first thing is to enter the photo mode, you can't. There is no shortcut. You have to go into it. You have to pause the game.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is you can only enter the photo mode if
On
you
one
are on attributes. Why, like, why attributes? Like, if I touch the touch button here, nothing happens.
No.
So that could be in every single tab.
Yeah, it's not used anywhere else.
Like, okay, this one resets all the abilities, but then I could like have it locked to another button instead of the touch button
or a hold.
Yeah, it's so.
I don't
weird.
think the touchpad's even used in the game. You can use it with R2 and touchpad to do a taunt, and you can hold it in the cutscenes to enter the lore.
The lore.
But just pressing it or swiping it isn't used. So they could have easily had a shortcut. But yeah, you've got to press options, and then you get that kind of little cool preview of the character there, which does sort of use the photo mode camera. Well, it uses the game camera. But yeah, you then have to press. There's a slight delay as well, which bugs me. Whenever a menu opens and you can't press it straight away. Anyway.
So this is the photo mode. It's free. It's free camera, so it's not orbit. At least that.
Yeah, the actual movement, the movement inputs are fine. It's 2 sticks. It's truck and dolly on the left stick, and it's a full 360-degree pan and like 180-degree up and down tilt, and you've got plus or minus 180-degree roll. But the range,
the roll is kind of cool. I have to admit, the
it
way it
loop.
rolls. Yeah, that's something that I would like.
Yeah.
For every photo mode with a roll to have.
Just loop round.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then you have the field of view, which not like it's better than some, like the character doesn't disappear, and it lets you to really get close.
They do disappear at a certain point, but you can still the actual zoom. So the field of view doesn't give a unit, but it seems to be in degrees, and it's what was it, 10 to 80, I think.
I think, yeah.
So that's looking at something like a 20 odd, like a 24 to a 200 millimeter lens, which is like a pretty good long telephoto zoom lens. So that's a workable zoom. But
then you have the best feature. You can hide Clive.
You can hide Clive even if you're playing as his brother, and it still
Josh.
says Clive.
Yeah, that is the giveaway. I wish we could see more of Joshua, and that's a giveaway to how many times you play as him. Clearly, you.
I mean, the demo is clearly not very spoilery because it's like prologue stuff, and they wouldn't have put it out. But I think that isn't resolved. The story, as I see it, I think that there's more to come from that.
Okay. Then, the range is definitely like.
The range is pathetic. Is the only description of that. I think it's worse than God of War.
By a solid margin.
I mean, if you go around his that move, that's one of the icon moves, isn't it? One of the Phoenix ones, and you can't even really pull back to see the whole of the wing there.
Yeah, and even if you go to on top of him, if you want to you can't get the whole wing at all unless you.
If you zoom out a little bit,
but that distorts the image.
Exactly. Yeah.
Another thing that I would like to see added is to hide the characters.
The enemies.
Not just
Yeah. I mean, so that the range there, like if you want to get the full length of him and the wing striking the enemy, you simply can't. Because if you go to the side of him now and try and get a profile view, you can just about, you've gone kind of diagonal, you can get it. But you can't give it any setting. And imagine what it's like when you're actually controlling one of the icons. Because they're huge.
From the aspect, the point on the demo, I don't think we will be able to get into photo mode.
It may be because it was kind of like a sort of
on rails
set piece. Yeah.
And the thing is, if you have to be on the attributes to open the photo mode,
good point.
you won't be able to get into the attributes menu during the icon battle. So, if you want to shoot some icons, you will be able to shoot them in the face, but you can't take photos of it.
But the other tab, let's have a look at the other tab.
The other tab is the depth of field. So why is there on and off?
That's not the first Photomode to do that. There's quite a few do it, and I never understand why. Especially when the default settings are basically off anyway. It's not the case in this one, but it just...
I want to go for an angle that has a lot of depth, so we can show
the focus steps.
Okay, so this is 0 and basically 0. Why nothing is on focus? Everything is super
see
blurry.
how close you have to get. Like, move closer to the wing there and just see if there is a point where it does snap into focus.
No, I test that out for a few portraits of him. Like, you simply can't. It disappears before going to focus. Like, even if you go to the floor or something, there is no way to do it. So then there is one, and one is really close, as you can see.
Well,
like
I tested the distance on these by using in the demo when you're in a room with Joshua. There's a desk, and there's a candle on one end. There's a book in the middle and a candle on the other end. And it's, if you look at it, you can say it's about a meter, an imaginary meter between this candle and the book. And if you stand and get on one, you get the candle in focus, move it to two, it went to the book. It's, each step is pretty much an in-game meter, which is enormous for for setting a focus, especially when you can't move the camera more than, if you go to 3, it's beyond the camera's range then. So the camera's distance is about 2.5 meters from the character.
Will this be patched? I hope so, because that's the thing. If I want to do, like, right now, the focus is all the way up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes up to what? I can't read.
30.
30. Which seems a little bit not very useful when you've got such little camera range. It's fine, at least you can aim away from the character. But being kept so close to the character, you've got that problem of having to put them in position as a camera placement. It's a bit, like when it's in orbit, without it being in orbit. And
it's super dependable on the placement of the camera, because the steps are so big that you have to. Basically, most of my shots, I put it on either 1 or 2 and move the camera around.
Yeah, so it's called dolly focus, but I do that anyway by routine to precisely adjust my focus. But with this, you have to, because the steps are so coarse, literally a meter at a time. I did the same. I set it to 1 and then just move the camera into position until it's in focus. But that's it. That's the entirety of the photo mode.
Oh no, there is the amount of blur that
that's true.
You can.
The blur is not too bad in certain.
It isn't. I agree. Yeah.
If you zoomed right in and up close, it's a little bit harsh. Like it's quite an abrupt edge. But in the right sort of range, it's okay, and you do get a bit of a circular bokeh on the lights. If you look at there you go, you can see the lights behind now have kind of diffused out. That's all right.
I think it's so hard to get the focus right because of the way the focal distance works.
Absolutely, but also the camera is a little bit twitchy. Like when you're trying to do very small adjustments, it's like nothing, then it jumps.
It's super sensible, yeah. I know what you mean. But yeah, that's basically the photo mode. Another thing that it might be worth to mention is if you go really close to something like this. Okay, so now his mouth is in focus. If I do it like this, the focus completely shifts. Like if depth of field is off, shouldn't everything be in focus?
You would think so, yeah. Yeah. It's an odd behaviour. I'm gonna guess that off just leaves it as per the game, as in how the game camera was set up, and then on is an override for it. I think that's probably the reason for the toggle.
And then you can hide the camera up and down with R2 and L2.
But they're the wrong way around.
Yeah. Compared to the other games.
Compared to everything. Like, even if you take racing games, R2 is forward, and forward tallies better with up. It's an increase. And L2 is brake or reverse, and that tallies better with down. And for some reason, they've put them the other way around. There was something else recently that did it, and I can't think. It might have been Street Fighter, but I played something else recently that did it the same way backwards. And you can get used to it, but every single time I do it wrong. And I hate it.
And then you can press R3 and reset everything.
And that's
Yeah.
a lot. So, I mean, there's plenty of scope for more. Oh, by the way, when you exit, is it just sure? Because there's a confirmation, isn't there, on exit? Because that's one thing that sometimes is annoying. Yeah, there you go. But you have to move across, I guess.
It's...
How do you feel about confirmation buttons on exits?
Put them in everything. Please put them in everything.
I think there should be one.
I also like how Survivor did it, where you have to really hold the button.
I don't know. I don't like stuff that delays me too much because I always get in. There'll be some sequence sometimes where I want to go in, check it, no, back out. You know, like if I'm trying to time an action shot or whatever, I want the in and the out to be as least resistance as possible. Yeah. And I don't want to exit, press across, and especially if it's exit, wait for the menu to respond, press across, because sometimes you do it and you go exit, press, and it hasn't moved, and you press no, God's sake, press exit again. You know, you get frustrated, so I'm rushing. And that's when it annoys me. Press, wait for it, now I can go across, wait for it, now I can press X. That bugs me.
Overall, you tested more photo modes than I did this year. How does this one rank?
Out of this year's?
Out of these years, yeah. It's better than Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, it's probably at the bottom of the pile, just purely because, I mean, you could argue that it's got those fundamental camera functions, but the range
is
absolutely kills it. If that had like a good 30-meter range or something, you could say, all right, I don't need filters, I don't need stickers, I don't need frames. I can do a cinematic crop myself if I want.
Something that we didn't mention is every single capture comes with a copyright watermark.
It's very small. I think that's a Japanese thing, to be honest. Copyright laws do vary by country. And I think the Japanese interpretation of this is that they should keep their copyright on it, even though the compositions are going to be original. I don't think it's a malicious thing at this point, or like a disrespectful thing. Quite the opposite, probably. But it does seem to be just the Japanese studios that are doing that. So yeah, I removed it anyway on my shots.
Me too.
Heal.
Yeah, I'm using 21 by 9. So yeah.
Oh well, that crops it off anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't care. I have hopes that in 1 year I'm be able to play this on PC and get some better shots.
They'll be miles better because the very first thing will be unleash the camera range. You just break that limit, and then suddenly you can go. And then that range of focus starts to make sense. You'll be able to make better use of that zoom range. And then, like I said, the movement and the roll and the pan and tilt is all there.
Speaking of Final Fantasy versions on PC, we got recently, about 1 year ago, on internet time, this was ages ago, but the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade on PC.
Yeah.
And that one also has a photo mode. Of course, that on PC, it was broken. Everyone is taking every single picture like they want. But you played it on PS5. You tested it on PS5, right?
So it's a funny thing with all of this is now 4 Final Fantasy games with photo modes, and they've all been completely different. There's no continuity whatsoever. And that remake Intergrade is the most recent one prior to this. And it had a lot of things that were better than 16.
Than this, yeah.
But it had some significant failings in that it had no focus or depth of field at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bigger omission.
I tried to, for the first hour or so of the game, only use the photo mode and not use camera tools. I was like, okay, I will try and do it like no. I immediately went back and redid the entirety of the first part with the camera tools. And
with that, it's not a photography tool, it's a screenshot tool.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the actual camera range was better, and you've got a ton of filters and stuff.
It was Orbit though. It was better range, but it was an Orbit camera.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's a different team with each of these games. So Final Fantasy XV, which was Luminous Productions, I think, wasn't it, who did Forspoken?
Yeah.
And that was not really a photo mode at all. It was just the in-game camera.
And I don't think. Maybe you could after some patches, but at the vanilla release, you couldn't even get the camera. So Prompto would take photos of the day, and you would get it.
You? I think you got another one because Prompto has one, and you're right that they do that sort of preset collection of his shots. But I think you get one as well. But it was limited to something like 100, like you had a film reel.
And the pictures that Prompto captured during the day count as around the 100 pictures. It was a weird.
That might be what they patched, that they didn't fill it. But it wasn't really a photo mode as such. Whereas the oldest game out of the ones, the Final Fantasy mods, for the games with the photo mode, 14.
But the 14 photo mode came after 15's launch.
Oh, right. I didn't actually know when it was released.
Yeah, it was something like, I want to say 2019 or 2020 that the photo mode was implemented. When I played Final Fantasy XIV, the photo mode wasn't there for sure.
Right. But it's an odd one as well, because that's an MMO. That's an online game, and that's what you normally expect least likely to have a photo mode. It wasn't called photo mode either. It was called group pose or something, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, I only seen videos of it. I never tested it myself, but at least some part of it could have been like translated into this one. And I hope, like, it gives me hope that they patch the one in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
It gives me hope that they patch the one in Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy VII Remake seems to have been forgotten. The 7 Remake.
Rebirth will maybe have an update to that, I would expect.
Please.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if not. Is Rebirth done by the same team as Remake? Yeah.
7 Remake.
Okay. Well, that would be interesting to see if the team sticks to their own photo mode or not.
Or if there is a photo mode at launch.
Yeah, because it was only Integrate that had it, wasn't it? The original remake.
The PS4 version doesn't have a photo mode.
No, still doesn't. No.
Yeah.
The things in 14, before I forget, because that actually has some sort of lighting. I don't mean positionable lighting, but things to adjust exposure and stuff, and loads of color grading. They're the color grading I can deal with, but exposure that's the other essential that's absolutely missing from 16, especially in such a dark game.
Yes, it's so dark sometimes that even something as simple as exposure not being there, it's so limiting. It's so I have no idea what they were. They were like, here's the basics, have fun. Don't complain about it. Don't ask us about it. Just
it's better than nothing. But
sometimes nothing is better.
No, this is better than nothing. You can get some shots that look all right. It's just you're very restricted in. You end up, the frustration is all on the user end. You don't end up seeing bad shots from it because you can still use it to get some good shots. But it's the shots that you want to try and get, and it inhibits you from doing that because you can't get the camera into position. Yeah, that's what's annoying about it. But we'll see. We'll see if there's a thing at launch or post-launch. I'll be amazed if there's one at day one. If the day one patch has a big photo mode thing,
the day one patch was announced this week, and they said so. A few months ago, they said no day one patch. The entirety of the game is there, and now they come back and we are doing a day one patch with some minor adjustments. I don't think the photo mode is.
No, I don't think it'll be changed. Day one patches are kind of inevitable now because the game goes gold at a certain point. That's what's on the disc, but there's time in between then, and they're not going to stop. So they've carried on working, improving that. So we're in an age where you can distribute an update, no fuss. So it doesn't bother me.
I have a question for you.
Go on.
That I just thought of. So to give feedback about these photo modes to studios that are known for doing virtual photography events like Santa Monica, like Insomniac, they are known, band studios, they are known for having their eyes on the community, and you can just make a post and everyone comments on it. On someone so close as Square Enix, that they don't seem to have that much Twitter presence with the fans, how do we do to give that feedback? Do we don't use the photo mode? Do we use the photo mode? What's your opinion on that?
That's quite a fascinating question, actually.
Let's save it for next week.
We could spin that out into an episode sometime.
Yeah.
But to answer it briefly, I would say that you can probably try and reach out to some sort. They will still have some kind of community management going on, even if it's not specifically around the photo mode.
They have a guy that writes the articles for their blog, and he actually did the photo mode guide blog for Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate.
So that would be a good starting point, a good touch point.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in the press portal, but I've had zero response back from that.
By the way, are you a fan of Family Guy, or do you know Peter Griffin?
Yes, I know Peter Griffin.
Okay. The guy that writes the blog, his bio is real life Peter Griffin, and it's uncanny. It's like he's doing cosplay all the time. It's so freaking weird.
Wow. And does he have a baby with a rugby bottle shaped head as well?
I have no idea.
Right. Well, anyway, so in case there is a day one update, luckily we will have a man in the field. You're going to be our live reporter. Roles reversed. This is London all over again, but the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I'll let's save that for this next segment. Hi.
Hey, where are you?
I am on the Final Fantasy XVI launch live stream from PlayStation Portugal on an actual medieval castle.
An actual medieval castle?
We are outside on the wall of the castle.
So you're... I can see like a sort of turrets in the background.
Yeah. Over there. Really far away. They have this stand right here. This is where the live stream will happen. Not sure if you can see the view from here, but it's
nice.
Spectacular. Let me try and flip the camera really quick.
It's sunny. Why don't you have a good suntan?
Sorry?
I said it's really sunny. You should have a good suntan.
Yeah, I even bought my Hawaiian t-shirt.
Your medieval Hawaiian t-shirt.
Yeah, it's super nice here. It's very windy because it's Portugal, so we always have wind.
Yeah, but, and you're up a hill by the look of it.
Yeah, on the very top.
Nice.
There is a medieval fair here every year. There is no one in clothing, in like proper medieval clothing.
Oh, and not nudists, to be clear.
No. I'm now climbing like a set of stairs.
So is the event outdoors tonight?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't realize.
We are in Portugal and we can do that because there is no rain.
No, yes, fair point.
That's the difference between you and me. The last time we did something like this, you had to get wet because of the weather. I get sunny.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Well, on the other hand, we've got grass. You don't have much grass.
Wow. I think we do have grass.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a nice spot. So what's happening there? I can't see any Final Fantasy banners or anything.
Okay, I moved out of the main spot where everything is being set because there are people talking and I don't want to bother them. They are like rehearsing the episode, but what's happening is basically we have a special guest. We talked about it. We have a special guest. There is a Portuguese comedian that never played Final Fantasy, and we are basically going to try and convince him to buy Final Fantasy XVI, and I will have to convince him using the photo mode.
So this is the same idea of what you did the little recordings for. You're now doing it live. Oh, so that was just a rehearsal.
Yeah, basically. But let me try and...
Is this going out live on YouTube tonight, as in Thursday night then?
Yeah, in about 1 hour we will be live streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Is it inside that little
inside
cover?
the club? I can try and show you.
Yeah, go poke the camera in. Don't be shy. Just go poke it in. Oh, okay, yeah, see the little seats. Yeah.
Tranquil.
Oh, you're getting ushered away?
Yeah.
Oh. I understand tranquil. I get that.
For being in the video, but that's my fault for being there where I shouldn't.
Yeah, well, it's as all good reporters should do. You got to push the boundary a little bit. Well done. But
yeah, that's it. This is pretty crazy, actually. There's other content creators, Portuguese content creators.
Yeah.
And I've met some of them, and they have no idea what photo mode even is. So they have no idea why I'm doing here. Oh, is that capturing images?
Well, I think at least you get that much. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm sure of it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it will. Is there like an after show party as well?
No.
But
it's going to have an official after show party. We already talked about it. So, but it's not official.
That still counts. That'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess there's nobody from Square Enix there or anything like that.
No. They had to exchange emails with Square Enix, and that was about it for this and the YouTube series that never went live.
Oh dear. Yeah, and that's only just earlier in this episode, by the way. It's not even like a couple of days ago, which it is. But are you going to be doing the same approach as to what you did in that?
No, because now I know what went wrong and what went well. So now my approach will be very different. And last time I had to be alone with the community. This time I will be with another person that will be talking about the combat, and I will be talking about the photo mode. So that's actually pretty cool because she will be playing and I will be saying something like, "Oh, stop! Let me." Yeah,
that would be good actually, because that makes it go hand in hand and it shows when you can use it. Yeah, that would be good. Plus, it shares the burden a little bit, doesn't it?
We will be focusing on the demo bit. So if you play the demo, there are no spoilers at all.
Yeah, that's just the prologue, isn't it? Like the opening section of the game. Okay.
Yeah. Have you played it?
Yeah. Not the full game, or the demo.
Oh, I played. I had access to the full game yesterday. and I spent 5 hours playing it.
Good. I don't have it, so no. Not yet.
The photo mode is the same.
Oh, I actually forgot. I forgot to even ask that. Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's exactly the same photo mode as the demo.
So everything that we've just said applies.
Applies, yeah.
Good. Well, I hope you get some goodie bags or something as well.
Yeah, me too. I will be getting a deluxe edition of Final Fantasy because of this.
Yeah. Well, that was because of the previous.
Yeah. Let's pretend that it's because of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a cool opportunity anyway. I'll try and catch up on the stream. I presume there'll be subtitles or something.
Yeah. Probably not.
Oh, well, I'll just sort of.
But you will get the part where I say photo mode.
Okay, because you use the English photo mode.
Yeah, you will catch me with the expressions of Final Fantasy related, so like dominance, icons, combat, stuff like that. You will understand.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
I think I'm being summoned now.
Summoned?
Yeah. I'm actually being called, but since this is Final Fantasy, I use the term summon. Yeah. It's the rehearsal part. I think that this is my bit.
All right. Okay. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
And see you all next week.
See ya.